Good morning and welcome into the Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey. We're still reacting for at least a little bit longer about the Cowboys Week 1 preseason game. We're going to take away with some more news coming out of that matchup. We're going to begin with injuries, and we'll discuss some more targeted players here. Joe Milton, the final word is a bruised elbow. Cowboys didn't work out anybody Sunday at quarterback, which does make me think he's going to be okay. Schottenheimer was unconcerned postgame. Did want to update it here. Saahdiq Charles had the update on this front. Hyperextended knee. That came out after we filmed our instant reaction. So I think more tests to come. Cowboys have offensive line depth. They've had some injuries there. We'll see what ends up happening with Charles, if he's going to, or when he's going to be able to return. Robert Rochell. I was wrong. I thought that he had gotten benched. No, he had actually tweaked the hamstring, which isn't a good sign for Rochell either. I think the Cowboys are going to play him a decent amount. We'll see how long that hamstring injury keeps him out, but quite a few soft tissue injuries this year for the Cowboys in camp in the preseason. Don't love those updates. Now, before we dive into more news and notes, we are in a sub battle this month against Eagles. Now, look, we have the advantage. We're a bigger channel, but I still want to beat them. I know there's 100+ of you watching today's show who have not subscribed. Let's gain ground here. You want free Cowboys videos each and every single day? You want preseason watch parties, regular season watch parties? Hit that sub button so you don't miss out. YouTube.com/@CowboysTV. I want to spend some more time on Phil Mafah. Maybe we didn't talk about him enough in the instant reaction. He was mentioned in our winners and losers category, although I was quite impressed with how Malik Davis played. But I also thought Phil Mafah played pretty well. Frankly, I thought in general the run game was pretty solid for the Dallas Cowboys. I thought Phil Mafah looked a lot like the guy he was at Clemson, and I mean that in a positive way, to be clear. Big guy, powerful runner, ran hard, ran well, didn't lose a lot of yardage. His best run was that 14-yarder that got called back because of a penalty, which I think was a pre-snap penalty, which was annoying. If you include all the snaps, not including the flags, like not taking away those stats, so with all the runs that happened, Malik Davis still had the way. He was awesome. 7 carries, 63 yards, 9 yards per carry. 6.14, by the way, after contact. Really elite numbers there for Davis. Phil Mafah's numbers jumped from like 3.6 yards per carry up to 4.5, 1.7 yards after contact. He always did a good job falling forward. So much better numbers there. Deuce Vaughn, I feel like he may have been on a pitch count in that game because he played the first quarter and then came out. Which maybe it isn't indicative of where he is in the pecking order. I feel like he could have gotten some more run, but the fact that they played Malik Davis so much makes me think it was like a pitch count thing for Deuce Vaughn. 3 carries, 17 yards. He also had a penalty run called back. So they all ran it well. We did not see, though, the top 3 guys. Actually, top 4 guys. No Javonte Williams, healthy scratch. Miles Sanders, Jaden Blue, out because of injury. Hunter Lipke was a healthy scratch as well. There's maybe one spot, maybe, and it might be 0 spots between the Mafah-Vaughn-Davis combination. But if Miles Sanders doesn't get back soon, maybe he ends up being in trouble. So predictions. Does Phil Mafah make this Cowboys roster? I think he at least makes the practice squad. I think there's a good chance he gets down there. Y for yes, N for no. It's the pinned comment on today's video, so go vote Y or M. We mentioned run offense. Let's talk run defense here. The Cowboys' run defense, I thought, fared well early against the Rams. The numbers bear that out. But it faded late against the LA Rams. Here were the rushing stats for the Rams lead backs. Blake Corum was RB1 in this game with the 2.5 since they didn't even play Jimmy Garoppolo. Averages 3.6 yards a carry. Did have 2 touchdowns, but the passing defense had issues early. Jarquez Hunter, 11 carries, 41 yards. That's 3.7. The top 2 backs for the Rams were mostly bottled up. But then Cody Schrader popped off for 5 carries, 59 yards. Jordan Waters, who wasn't even in our extensive database of players, was at 5.3 yards a carry. They faded late. Mazi Smith did play in this game. He had 14 snaps. Sometimes when you don't notice a player, it's probably a good thing, or at least it can be a good thing. The positive side here for Mazi Smith is I didn't notice him in the game, but I also didn't notice him in the game. I went back and watched because I'm a sicko. Shout out NFL Plus. Mazi was fine. He didn't make a bunch of big plays. He didn't really make any plays. I don't think he was a liability. I don't think he was impactful. Okay? That's, pro and con. but it's also the backups of the Rams. Like, I kind of would have liked to have seen him be a little bit more impactful. It just felt like just a guy day from Mazi Smith, where it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good either. On the flip side, watching live, I did notice Jay Toia, and that was a bad thing. He got turned too much. I think in general, 38 snaps is probably too much for him. Like, that's probably almost double what you want to comfortably give him in a game. But that third string Rams offensive line, and shout out Willie Lampkin, the 5'11 center. I mean, low man won, and he was clearing everybody out of the club in that one. I thought Toia got turned too much. I thought he kind of got washed out a couple times. I thought he was better early, but he did fade late. I think that might just be a snap count thing, but I think there's still room for improvement for Toia. And I think right now, Mazi's clearly better. That doesn't mean they're good enough at defensive tackle, and that remains a concern for me. You can get this Cowboys hoodie on sale. It was $55. Now it's just $33. Perfect fall attire. Link will be in the comment section and the description of today's show. It's in the third paragraph of the description. Chatsports.com/DAL hoodie. That's chatsports.com/DAL hoodie. For the back half of today's show, I want to run through the rookies. And if you guys like this, appreciate that. Maybe we'll do it each time. Obviously, some of them will spend less time on. Some of them will spend more time on. We're going to begin with the guy who did not play. One of them who did not play. Tyler Booker, the offensive guard. This is the rest versus rust debate. I think the quarterback is a different conversation. Like CeeDee Lamb is a different conversation. I think we can play Tyler Booker in the preseason. Like, I am fine giving him reps. If you want to make the argument, well, we got to play all the starters on the offensive line for chemistry. Like, I can give Terrence Steele and Cooper Beebe 15 snaps. That's fine. I would hope the Cowboys increase the amount of guys who play against the Ravens this week. Like, I just think that give them a little bit of playing time here. Even the Ezraku, like 14 snaps is fine. 17 snaps. Like, that's fine with me. So, should Tyler Booker play next week? 1 for yes, 0 for no. Let me know in the comment section of today's show. Let's go to the rookie who did play, the top rookie who did play, Donovan Ezraku for the Dallas Cowboys. I thought played pretty well. Only 17 snaps. Did get a pressure, one of the few pressures that were created by the Dallas Cowboys. ESPN gave him a quarterback hit. I don't know if it was really a hit so much as it was like got near home late. But I thought he was good against the run too. I would have liked to have had a sexier sack because that's fun, that's entertaining. The way the Rams run it, like they were able to buy Bennett time, and he's a good athlete too. And not as wildly crazy, like this guy's a future superstar as, you would have loved. But I think like if you were to grade out the top 5 Cowboys defenders, he's comfortably in there. No order. I think Izzy deserves it. Zion Childress I thought played really well. I mentioned him last night. Leafau, Ezraku. I don't know who this is, actually. It's kind of one of those nights. Let's go to Savone Rebel. Obviously did not play for the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think he's going to play week 1. Jaden Blue also not out there for Dallas. Hopefully he's there soon. I would love it if he could play week 2 of the preseason. We'll keep an eye on how that bone bruise and ankle injury end up healing. The other 5th-round pick did play, Shamar James. And if you had checked in with me like before the touchdown drive that the Rams went on late, I would have put Shamar James in the top 5. I thought he was good against the run. I thought he looked like he was consistently around the ball. He got cooked on the touchdown. And this I think is going to be a development point for him in coverage. It's an angle route, so the Texas route, however you want to call it. I call it the angle route because it's running back runs out towards the sideline, cuts it inside. Shamar James over pursues. Looked like me in college football 26, thinking the running back's going to the flat, cut inside. Now it's touchdown. So outside of that, I thought he played very well. Also had 12 team snaps. I thought was playing well up until that one really bad play. Of all the Cowboys rookies, and I guess you can go undrafted free agents if you want to shout out Trayshawn Holden or something, let me know who was the most impressive in this game. Answer might be a Johnny Cornelius, actually. I think you could also argue as Ezraku. 35 snaps for the Dallas Cowboys, did not allow a single pressure. And unlike some of the other Cowboys, as there were 5 players who had a penalty along 4 players, 6 penalties. I can't do math tonight. On the offensive line, none from Ajani Cornelius. He was, again, if you value PFF, great. He was actually the highest graded offensive lineman for Dallas. I don't think Keem Adeniji had nearly as good of stuff. He allowed the sack. He also had just like some issues, I think, in the run game. I thought Ajani Cornelius and TJ Bass, Bass getting run at both left guard and center, by the way, had pretty solid showings. We mentioned Jay Toia. I'm not going to repeat my thoughts on that one there. Rewind if you have to. Same with Phil Mafah. I thought Mafah was good, and Toia not so much. The last drafted rookie I want to mention, Tommy Akambasote. I think this has been a pretty quiet preseason, off-season training camp for Akambasote. I haven't seen anything yet. 17 snaps, and you can go back and watch Willie Lampkin clearing him out of the club. It was not great. I don't think, unless he gets way better suddenly, I don't see him making this Cowboys roster. Feels like a practice squad development, which was kind of what we thought he was going to be coming out of Maryland anyway.